What if the woman everyone calls strange is actually thinking on a level most people never reach? She talks to herself. She overthinks the smallest details. She stays awake when everyone else is sleeping. She asks questions that nobody else thinks to ask. She disappears into her own thoughts, even when she is standing right in front of you. To some people, these behaviors may look weird. To others, they may even look like signs of weakness. But what if they are telling you something completely different? Because sometimes, the very things people criticize about a woman are the same things that reveal how deeply her mind works. And today, I'm going to show you 10 unusual habits that may be connected to a highly active, deeply curious, and intellectually complex mind. Listen carefully, because somewhere in these 10 habits, you may recognize yourself, or perhaps you will finally understand someone you've never been able to understand before. The first habit is talking to herself. You may have seen her doing it, walking around the room, working on something, or trying to solve a problem. And suddenly, she starts speaking out loud. Some people immediately think something is wrong, but sometimes nothing is wrong at all. For certain people, speaking their thoughts out loud is simply a way of organizing the chaos inside their minds. When hundreds of thoughts are competing for attention, putting those thoughts into words can help bring order to them. She isn't necessarily talking because she has no one else to talk to. Sometimes, she is talking because her mind is trying to understand itself. So, the next time you see a woman talking to herself, don't be so quick to call her strange. She may simply be thinking out loud. The second habit is something that seems completely opposite to what we expect from an intelligent person. A messy room, a cluttered desk, things that aren't always perfectly organized. We are taught to believe that an organized mind must always have an organized environment. But the human mind doesn't always work that way. Some highly creative people become so absorbed in their thoughts, their ideas, and the problems they're trying to solve that physical organization becomes less important. Their attention is somewhere else. They are building ideas, connecting patterns, imagining possibilities, while everyone around them is worried about where the papers are. Of course, a messy room doesn't automatically mean someone is intelligent. But sometimes, what looks like disorder on the outside is simply a reflection of a mind that is busy creating something on the inside. The third habit is staying awake long after the rest of the world has gone to sleep. For some women, nighttime feels different. The world becomes quiet. The phone stops ringing. The unnecessary conversations disappear. And for the first time all day, the mind finally has room to breathe. This is when thoughts begin to flow. Ideas appear, questions emerge, memories return. And suddenly, she's thinking about things she never had time to think about during the day. While everyone else is sleeping, her mind may be exploring her past, questioning her future, or imagining an entirely different life. Maybe that's why she loves the night. Not because she hates the world, but because the silence finally allows her to hear herself. The fourth habit is overthinking. But perhaps overthinking is not always the right word, because sometimes she isn't thinking too much. She's simply noticing too much. A change in someone's voice, a pause before an answer, a smile that doesn't reach the eyes, a message that suddenly becomes shorter. Other people move on. She notices, she remembers, and she connects the dots. She doesn't just listen to what people say, she watches what they don't say. And that can be both a gift and a burden. Because when your mind is constantly searching for patterns, you can see things other people miss. But you can also find yourself trapped inside questions that have no easy answers. Why did they say that? Why did their behavior change? What are they really thinking? Sometimes, the mind that sees the deepest is also the mind that struggles the most to switch off. The fifth habit is having a surprisingly small circle of friends. You may look at her life and wonder, why doesn't she have hundreds of friends? Why doesn't she enjoy every party? Why does she sometimes choose to be alone? The answer may be simpler than you think. She may not be looking for more people. She may be looking for the right people. She doesn't need endless conversations about nothing. She wants conversations that mean something. She wants someone who can challenge her thoughts, understand her silence, and talk about things that exist beneath the surface. For her, one genuine connection may be worth more than 100 shallow ones. And if she cannot find that connection, she may choose solitude. Not because she is lonely, but because she has learned that being alone can be more peaceful than being surrounded by people who make her feel alone. The sixth habit is a strange sense of humor. Sometimes she laughs at things nobody else finds funny. She notices irony. She finds humor in uncomfortable situations. She makes a comment that leaves everyone silent because nobody understood what she meant. And then she starts laughing. Her humor may be unusual because her mind is constantly looking for connections, contradictions, and hidden meanings. Sometimes the joke isn't obvious. It's hidden beneath the surface. And if you don't see what she sees, you simply won't understand why she's laughing. So when everyone else is staring at her, wondering what could possibly be funny, she may just be living 3 thoughts ahead of everyone else. The seventh habit is forgetting small things. Her keys, her phone, someone's name, where she left something 5 minutes ago. And people wonder, how can someone remember complicated ideas, but forget something so simple? Because the human mind doesn't treat every piece of information equally. When a person's attention is deeply focused on ideas, problems, emotions, or complex thoughts, small everyday details can sometimes disappear into the background. It's not always that she doesn't care. Sometimes, her mind is simply somewhere else. She may forget where she put her keys, while remembering a conversation from 10 years ago, because that conversation meant something to her. The eighth habit is asking too many questions. She doesn't accept something just because everyone else believes it. She wants to know why. Why is this the rule? Who decided it? What happens if we do it differently? And what if everyone is wrong? This kind of curiosity can make her seem difficult, because she doesn't blindly follow. She investigates, she questions, she challenges. She wants reasons, not just instructions. And sometimes, the most intelligent thing a person can do is have the courage to question what everyone else is too comfortable to question. The ninth habit is getting lost inside her own mind. You may be talking to her, and suddenly, she goes quiet. Her eyes change. Her attention drifts somewhere far away. Her body is standing right there, but her mind has already left the room. Maybe one sentence you said triggered a memory. Maybe an idea suddenly connected with another idea. Maybe her mind just opened the door, and she walked through it. Don't always assume she is ignoring you. Sometimes, she is simply traveling through a world that exists entirely inside her own mind. And finally, the 10th habit, the one that may reveal more about intelligence than all the others combined. She is not afraid to admit when she is wrong. Insecure people often protect their ego at any cost. They argue when they know they're wrong. They make excuses. They blame others. They refuse to change. But a truly intelligent mind understands something much deeper. Being wrong does not make you stupid. Refusing to learn does. A woman who can look at herself honestly, say, I was wrong, learn from the experience, and become better because of it. Here's something far more valuable than intelligence. She has self-awareness. And self-awareness is one of the most powerful forms of intelligence a person can develop. So, if you recognize yourself in several of these habits, don't be so quick to think that something is wrong with you. Maybe you simply think differently. Maybe you notice what others overlook. Maybe you feel things more deeply. Maybe your mind refuses to accept simple answers to complicated questions. And maybe the things people once criticized about you are actually the very things that make you unique. But remember, no list of habits can tell you how intelligent someone truly is. Real intelligence is not just about how fast you think. It's about how deeply you understand, how honestly you question yourself, how willing you are to learn, and how wisely you use what you know. So the next time someone tells you, you think too much, maybe ask yourself, what if I simply notice more? And the next time someone calls you strange, remember this. The world has always been uncomfortable with people who refuse to see it the way everyone else does. Sometimes, being different isn't a weakness. Sometimes, it's the beginning of seeing something that others haven't seen yet. This is Scarlett Jung Thoughts. And if this video made you recognize something about yourself, I want you to answer one question in the comments. Which one of these 10 habits describes you the most? Because sometimes the things we think make us strange are the very things that make us who we are. For more powerful stories, deeper psychological insights, and fascinating explorations of the human mind, follow Scarlett Jung Thoughts. Because when you understand the mind, you don't just understand other people better. You finally begin to understand yourself.